Hi, my name's Helen. This is my channel, Helen Mary Jo. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're returning, thank you. And if you're a Hells Bell, hello. So, first of all, as ever, thank you for all the support. Just noticed that lump of hair hanging down there, but it doesn't really matter. Thanks for all your support and all your lovely ongoing comments. I really, really do appreciate them. And today is just a couple of things that I thought I would share with you. And it's been mad busy. The weather today is, I'm jumping about as usual, but the weather today is so awful. I've got my cashmere shawl on. I love this shawl. This is from black.co.uk. I'll put the link in the description box. I've worked with them before, but I honestly, these are just so useful. And it's really, really chilly today. It's like we've been plunged into autumn winter. So I've got a little bit of cooking to share with you at the end of this video. And the first part of the video is a little, it's kind of just it's just one dress actually. But I bought this dress 10 years ago. Now, if you're like me and you have been on a weight loss journey and you will have been up and down and along and up and up and down and down and down and up and down, and my weight has fluctuated my whole adult life. Now at the moment I'm on a down, and I put some of that down to the fact that I'm so busy with this channel. So in a way you have inadvertently helped me to be happier, I guess. And when I'm happier, I don't eat so much because I am not trying to squash my emotions with food, which is what I think I do. When I am low, I eat. And I have said to the doctor before now, it's my drug of choice. And I think that's really true. And I think people that don't have that problem will never, can never understand what happens. So I don't want to talk about my weight loss as such because there is no miracle that I'm aware of. And as I say, I have been very, very heavy and not very, very low. I've never been very, very low, but I'm a bit lower than I have been for a little while right now. And happy days. But I'll probably go up again because that's been the pattern of my whole life. So I've got no reason to think that will change now. But while it is lower, I try and enjoy that. And as I've said to you before, I have always tried to dress to the best of my ability and look the best I can, whatever weight I am. And I think that's just all about kind of self-esteem, good grooming, and an interest in clothes, which I have always had. So what I'm doing today is, this is quite funny really. It's at least 10 years ago, if not longer ago, that I was in John Lewis with Katie having a look around at clothes, and I saw this dress, the dress I'm going to try on in a minute, and it was really, really well reduced, and it's by a brand called Damsel in a Dress, and I don't even know if they're still in existence, to be honest. I haven't seen them for a long time. I will Google them, and if they are still in existence, that bit of hair's driving me mad, I will put a link in the description box. So I bought this dress at least 10 years ago, if not longer, because I was on a downward weight loss trajectory, and it didn't fit me when I bought it, and it hasn't fitted me for 10 years. Katie couldn't believe it when I told her that I still had the dress. She said, "You've still got that dress?" And I said, well, I was so confident that I was going to slim into it and I liked it, so I kept it. And I just came across it the other day and I thought, well, I'll try it on. And I tried it on very quickly, but I think it fits. And I think I've mentioned before that I've got a couple of wedding receptions to go to later this year. And so I think I might wear this dress to one of those. And today I haven't tried it on properly. I kind of slipped it on, slipped it off again. But Heist have got a really good promotion at the moment. They've got 20% off. It's not for a long time, so I will put everything in the description box and I'll put the code on the screen. It'll go just below here. And 20% is a good reduction. Now, if you haven't worn Heist tights before, you're in for a treat, in my opinion. They are my absolute favourite brand of tights. They're all I wear now. I don't bother with Marks and Spencer's or anywhere else because these tights are so comfortable and I love them. And I know a lot of you have tried them and liked them. They are expensive. I'm not going to pretend they're not expensive because they are, but particularly the higher denier tights last forever. They just last and last and last. And that once you've worn these, you'd have a job to go back to normal tights. So I have got two options here. The dress has got a navy sleeve and back. I'll show you it in a second, or I'll put it on in a second. And so I've got some navy tights and then I've got some sheer tights. And because the dress is shorter than I would normally wear, I do want to wear tights with it. If it was longer and it was warmer, I would probably just have bare legs, but it's going to be probably quite chilly. And so I've got some navy shoes and I've got some gold shoes. So that's really, I thought, you know, I'll let you be the judge. Well, and it helps me to choose by seeing it on the camera. So, yeah, I will try the dress on with the two options, two shoe options, two tight options, and see what we think. While we're on that subject, I know lots of you liked very much the pink. Oh, there's Dolly stealing the show as usual. Lots of you liked the pink dress that I showed you from Whistles, John Lewis. And I said in the video it's dry clean only because that's what it clearly states on the label, in block capitals, dry clean only. But on the website it said hand wash. And you know, it's funny, when I took them back, well, funny, not funny, when I took them back and I said to the lady on behind the counter, I said, she said, oh, anything wrong with them? I said, no, not at all. But on the label, it says dry clean. And on the website, it says hand wash. And she said, oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Yes. That was it. That was the end of her input on that. No feedback, no nothing. I mean, it doesn't bother me because I've taken them back now. They were too expensive to risk. And that was the other strange thing. They were slightly different in price, but they were about the £80 mark and reduced from £199. And one of them is now £102. I really don't understand that at all, but you know, it's not my problem again because I've taken them back. And then two other little comments about returns and things. I am still waiting for my Asda return. That I returned those things on the 10th of July. The 10th of July. And we're coming on for 2 months now and I haven't had my refund. I emailed the CEO of George Asda. I hung on for 45 minutes to speak to customer services and I was promised that somebody would look into it and come back to me within 24 hours. Well, that was 48 hours ago. It's so frustrating. It's over a £300 refund. And I just don't really know what to do next because now when I'm messaging them on Facebook, they're not answering me. I mean, that's terrible, isn't it? So that's them. And then you have the opposite with Dunnes Stores. As you know, I made a bit of a boo-boo and returned my items to the Dublin address. And now the clothes that I returned are stuck at Dublin Customs. And I messaged them and they said they will probably return them to you. And when they do, get in touch with us and we will send you a label to return the items for a full refund. Now that is good customer service because it was my mistake. So a big tick for Dunnes and a big for Georgia Asda. And it has made me actually quite nervous to order from George again because, well, obviously I can't afford to have hundreds of pounds sitting there that belongs to me, that they've got my money. So it's very, very frustrating. But anyway, I don't want to go on about that because I know it's kind of part of the perils of this job. But there's some people that could not afford to have that money sitting there or have to have paid that bill. You know, it's just not on really, and it's a very, very poor system. So anyway, it's not about moaning. Please don't all pile on. I'm just letting you know that they've said on their website we're having problems with refunds, but I mean, this is beyond a joke. I might actually write to Martin Lewis, the money saving expert, and see if he's got any tips as to what I could do to try and just get a resolution on this. Really, it's poor. So, oh, and then the end of this video, it's tale of two halves. So just trying on the one dress with 2 pairs of tights and 2 pairs of shoes options. And then I make the most delicious plum and coconut sponge. And hopefully this time I had the camera in the right position and you will see what I'm doing while I'm talking about what I'm doing. So fingers crossed for that one. If by any chance that doesn't work, then you won't be seeing that at all. And by the way, I've had my colours done by my sister and she's just waiting to get her website live, and then I can talk about my colour analysis that I had with her, which was really good fun actually. So I'll stop talking and I will try on this dress with the 2 options. It's so chilly, I don't actually want to take my clothes off, but I can't try them on without it. So I'll do that right now. So this is the dress, which I really rather like. It's like a jersey, kind of quite a heavy navy jersey fabric with this panel at the front of flowers, 3/4 sleeve, which is very flattering, I think. And then on the back, you can see the zip is one of those kind of exposed zip, and then it's been bound by the same fabric that's on the front. So my first option I've gone with is a solid navy pair of tights from Heist. I think these are a 60 denier. I will link them below. And as I say, they've got 20% off just now, which isn't kind of my code. It's a generic code that they're offering as kind of back to school, back to work thing. And I don't know about you, but I always feel that September in many ways feels more like a new year to me than January, because I often think, you know, if you want to do a course or anything like that, it's often September that you start, isn't it? So over the years, and I think with the children going back to school and university and everything like that, September often feels like kind of a new year type thing. So anyway, that's what the 20% is about. So it's not a long, you know, it's quite a short dress for me, but with the thick tights, that feels quite comfortable, to be honest. So I'll just... So that's the dress. It's very comfortable because it's got that stretch jersey, and I mean, I could do with a little bit of support around the tummy, which is easily solved. But Mum said, I think the sheer tights will look better because you've got the cream dress at the front, and she may well be right, but there's only one way to find out. And it's such a chore trying on clothes, especially tights. But I hope you like the dress. I do, which is nearly a miracle after 10 years, isn't it? So that's option number 1. And now I will go and pop on a pair of the sheer tights that I showed you before to look at option number 2. So now I have put on a pair of their Nude range of tights, and these are the Contour, I think they're the Contour 30 or 40 denier, and they are quite a tan, but then my legs are quite tanned at the moment as well, so it's like a double tan. But what's nice is they've got this really long waistband which kind of helps to smooth you all over. I think Mum is probably right about the contrast of the cream and the navy. So see what you think. What do you think? These shoes are brand new as well. I bought these in lockdown and I've never worn them. But I probably would not use this particular shade because they're against the gold. They are a bit dramatic, but very comfortable shoes. Even though they're pointed, they're kind of not narrow, which doesn't work for me. So that's my choices, and I have no doubt you will all let me know which one you prefer. And to be honest with you, I think it'll probably be obvious to me when I see the video too. So that's not a terribly, you know, it's not a big haul, but it's just to give you a look at those options and, you know, something to bear in mind for yourselves. And if you are looking for tights, then heist all the way for me. So that's the end of part 1. And then part 2 is my delicious plum and coconut cake. So I'll see you really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. I've got a friend coming around this morning for a cup of tea and a catch up. Haven't seen her for a long time, and I am quickly making one of my favourite cakes actually, and this is a plum and coconut cake. And I was given a piece of this cake by a friend many years ago. She was one of the school mums, and I was chair of the PTA and she was deputy chair, and so we used to meet quite often. And she made this cake, and really sadly she's no longer with us. She passed away from breast cancer about 10 years ago. But every time I make this cake I think of Anne, and she was a lady who put everything in front of boring things, and you know, she had no time for housework or anything, and she used to say a tidy house is a side of a boring life or something like that. And she was right, you know, because she died in her early 50s, mid 50s maybe. So yeah, it's always kind of quite evocative. It's funny how that can happen. So this is my plum and coconut cake. I make this from memory. I'm doing it in these 2 square tins today that I've sort of roughly lined. I just cut out one rectangle and put a cut in each corner diagonally, and that helps it to sit, and that'll be well enough to get the cake out. So I have done 12 ounces. Now 12 ounces might be a bit more than I need. So I've got 12 ounces of baking fat there. I'm not using butter, I'm just using stalk, and that does the job. I'm just going to soften it off. Enough of a blast really. So that's the baking fat, so I'm just going to mix that in with the margarine. It's so easy. I mean, you only really need a spoon when you melt the fat down like this, because obviously it's soft and easy. So into that I'm going to add the flour and desiccated coconut. Just give that a really little mix. It's you know, just fold it in really. It's so quick. I mean, this is quicker than if I'd gone to the shops to buy a cake, in truth. Then I'm going to add all of the eggs all at once. No point in messing around with that. I mean, look how quick that is really. It couldn't be quicker, could it? The weather here today, I know you like a weather forecast, is awful. It's like we've been plunged into winter. It's pouring down with rain, and there's rain forecast for the next week, I think. And the only person who's happy is my mum, because she's had new grass laid. So there, that's the mix. As I say, it really didn't take long, did it? So I'm just going to make sure the bottom of that is combined, and then distribute it fairly evenly between these two tins. These tins actually came free with the stalk margarine a couple of years ago, and I use them a lot. They're really handy. Sometimes I do like a square sandwich, Victoria sandwich, and they're much easier to cut actually, square cakes. I'll try and get this roughly half and half. I mean, you know, I don't sweat over this stuff. I'm sure my friend would be delighted to have a piece of warm cake. Who wouldn't be? I haven't turned the oven on yet in case someone's going to ask me that, because it's a fan oven and I've never found that necessary because it comes to temperature very quickly. So using my silicone spatula, I think that's about right. I just give them a rough kind of spread out. So I'm just going to nick a tablespoon, take a little spoon out of there to level it up a little bit. I borrowed Rob's phone this time, and I'm using the camera on his phone, so if it doesn't work, you won't see this video. Actually, I'm not going through that again. So that's the two, and then I just drop them, and that helps to level them off. And the next stage is, just need a sharp knife. It doesn't really matter how ripe the plums are for this recipe. So these are huge plums. In fact, when I bought them, I thought they'd labelled them wrong. I thought they were nectarines. They're lovely plums. And you actually do these in quarters. And all you do is press the plums into the cake like that. I'll just move those up a bit so I can get another one in there. These aren't ripe at all, these plums, but because they're being cooked, it really doesn't matter. It's a shame because Billy and Hattie don't like coconut, so I don't know if Hattie's all right with it, but I know Billy doesn't like it, so he won't be pleased that I've made a coconut cake. But there you are. It's very true. You can't please all the people all of the time, can you? So that's that, and then just need a little spoon. I mean, honestly, this is the quickest recipe. And then you just scatter the coconut and demerara sugar over the top, and it gives it a really lovely kind of crunchy topping. I'm going to put these in the oven on 175 for 20 minutes, and then I'll just check them and it'll be obvious whether they're ready or not. So that's my plum and coconut cake. I will put the measurements and everything in the description box, but it really could be easier. That's that. So I'm not sure which video I'm going to put this in with, but you'll see it when it's done, and obviously I'll show you a photograph at the end.